And good morning, students. In today's class, we'll continue our discussion on plants. The chapter name is Getting to Know Plants, right? In last class, we have discussed about what are the different types of plant such as herb, shrub, and tree. So, in today's class, we will be discussing about different parts of plant. Okay, so basically we know there are two parts of plant. These are root system and shoot system. Okay, we'll discuss about what is root and what is shoot. So just look into this diagram. Okay, in this diagram we have two part. From this flower top part up to the part we can see above soil. Okay, this part up to we can see above soil is known as your shoot system or shoot part, and the part which will be under the soil will be known as root system. Okay, in today's class we will be discussing in detail about root system, and in next class we will be discussing about shoot system. Okay, so the part of the plant that grows mainly under the ground forms the root system. Okay, so as I told you, the part which will grow under the soil will be known as your root system, and the parts mainly your flower, then flower buds, then leaf, fruit, stem, these will be known as your shoot system. I think it is clear. The part which we can see with our eyes, these are known as shoot system, and those will remain under the soil, that means we cannot see, are known as your root system. Okay, so moving to the next. Now what is root system? We know, right, that the part of the plant that grows under the ground is called root system. So in which direction root will grow? We can say that root will go always on the opposite direction of light. That means if sun is here, okay, if this is your sun and this is your plant, for example this is a plant, so sun is in this direction and it will grow in the opposite direction. Okay, so it will always go away from the sun, that is away from the light. Light is in this direction, it will go in the opposite direction of light. Again we know everything falls down due to gravity, right? The Newton's experiment, right? I think you can remember that apples falls from tree to ground. So the same thing is here. The roots are growing towards the gravity. Okay, that means from top to bottom direction towards the gravity and moisture. So we know the down will go into the soil, we will get more moisture, more water. So basically there are few characters of root system. It will grow towards the gravity, next towards the moisture, and it will grow always away from the light. Now comes the types of root system. Okay, so basically there are two types of root system in general. One is tap root, another one is fibrous root. So what is tap and fibrous? Tap root, first let me show you the diagram. Look at this diagram. In this diagram, see, we have main one axis, right, and from this main axis all the branches are coming, right? So this type of root system where only one main branch is there and from which the sub branch will come will be known as the tap root system. The main root, the main axis will be known as the primary root, and the branches will be known as the secondary root. Okay, it is also known as stem. The upper part is known as stem. Okay, from here it will root will start. Okay, in some plants a single root called primary root comes out from the seed after germination. So what is germination? Okay, in our home sometimes we have seen that our mother dips this pea in water, okay, for what should I say, for soaking this, right? And in the next day or after 2 or 3 days you can see that some small seedlings are sprouting out of the seeds. This is known as germination. That means from a seed new plant is coming out. it will be known as germination. So they're telling this, in some plants we will find that a single root is coming out of the germinating seed. That means only one root will come out after the germination. So obviously the root will be thicker in the upper position, and as you will come to the downwards, the end will be thin, right? The primary root gives out several branches in every direction, so it is giving several sub branches in every direction. Okay, these branches are known as lateral or secondary roots. Okay, this will be known as your lateral or secondary roots. Okay, this type of taproot is found in where? It is found in mango plant, neem plant, pine plant, then your carrot, radish. These are the examples of taproots. Okay. So let us move to the next, that is the fibrous root. As the name suggests, it will be like fibers, right? So see, from the stem, all the roots are coming together and these are like fibers, right? Some clumsy fiber combinations. So in some plant, a bunch of thin fiber-like root arise from the base of the stem. These are called fibrous root. Okay, I think it is clear. That means from the stem, many branches will come out together, and this will be known as fibrous root. Examples are in grass, maize, wheat, onion, and rice plant will find this type of fibrous root. Okay, moving to the next, function of fibrous root. Sorry, function of both the type of root, that is fibrous and tap roots. So there are basically three functions which are more common. The first is fixation. What does this fixation means? Fixation means for every plant the root spreads over the soil, right? And it gives strength to the plant to stand over the soil. That means it fixes the plant over the soil and gives a strong strength to the plant so that it can stand on the ground. This prevents the plant from being pulled out easily or blown away by the wind. That means during the heavy wind, these roots give the strength to the plant so that it can survive any storm or heavy wind. Okay, next is absorption. So we know plant need water and minerals, and how plant absorb water and minerals? Through the roots, right? Through the plant roots, plant absorb minerals and water, and later on they transfer these into the stem, from the root to the stem, and in from stem to ultimately to leaf, and the leaf plant produce their own food by the process of photosynthesis. Then the last is preventing soil erosion. So what is soil erosion? We have to explain it very simply because it's a higher class concept. So I'll be explaining very simple way. For example, in your home there is some land. Okay, so a field is there. So what will happen during rain? The rain water will wash off the surface soil, right? So the process in which the surface soil is washed off and ultimately in hilly areas it causes landslide is known as soil erosion. So the roots, they are so clumsy that they will hold the soil in such a way that it will not allow any water, so any soil to drain off with the rainwater or any lawn to be slide. Okay, so ultimately it is preventing soil erosion. So the last point over here is, what is a weed? A weed is any unwanted plant that grows by itself. Anything, any plant which you don't want and it grows by itself to certain place is known as a weed. The next is, we know the other types of roots. Next is modification of roots. So in nature what happens? Plants are modifying themselves according to nature to survive in different environment. So roots are also modifying themselves according to different environments. Okay, so the some modifications we'll discuss over here. First is storage of food. So we know in plants like carrot, turnip, radish, sweet potato, then beetroot, the roots are swollen due to storage of food, and these are called as storage roots. Okay, these roots are named as storage roots. If you look at this diagram, we'll see that carrots, radish, and sweet potato. We eat all these roots, right? And to be honest, these are very tasty, right? So we love these things, and these are not fruits, these are roots. Like tomato is a fruit, but this carrot, radish, and sweet potato, these are not fruit. Okay, these are roots of plant, remember this. So these are known as storage roots. Moving to the next is additional support. So these roots, there are some modified roots which give additional support to plants. For example, if you look at this photo, if this is not clear, you can look in your book also. So in this photo you will find that from the banyan tree, okay, some roots are hanging and they have been attached to the soil. So the function of this root is to give additional support to the plant. At the same time, these roots are known as prop roots, as they give additional supports and sometimes helps in the growth of the plant also. These are known as prop roots. These roots acts as pillar to provide additional support to the plant. Remember this point, okay? Sugarcane and maize have stilt roots, roots that grow from lower nodes of stem for additional support. So in case of sugarcane and maize, you will get stilt roots which grow from the nodes to give additional support. Moving to the next, fixation of nitrogen. So we know plants like pea, bean, groundnuts, moog, okay, they have swelling on the roots. That means there's some white swelling on the roots. These are called as root nodules. This white structure on the roots we are saying as swelling are nothing but root nodules. These nodules contains a bacterium known as, it is a bacteria known as rhizobium. What does bacteria do? These bacteria can fix the nitrogen gas present in our atmosphere, and they give this nitrogen gas in its inorganic form to the plant, and the leguminous plant such as pea, they use this nitrogen for their growth and different other metabolic purposes. Okay, I think it is clear. So moving to the next, breathing roots. So I guess most of the places you will find these roots in West Bengal. West Bengal is very famous for these mangroves. In our Silchar locality also, you will find it in, if you go near Chatla, you will find some mangroves are there, okay. So breathing roots, mangrove plant grow in salt lakes and marshy areas where soil contains very less air. So that they telling that this type of plant, these breathing roots are mainly mangrove plants. They grow in places where salt lakes or marshy areas where soil contains very less number of air, okay. They develop, what this plant do, they develop some special kind of roots called as pneumatophores or breathing roots for breathing, okay. So as there is less air, so they develop some special kind of roots by which they can breathe from outside, and so these roots are known as breathing roots or pneumatophores. Such roots grow vertically upward from the underground. That means from the soil below water, these roots will grow upward and this will come out of the water suddenly, okay, after a certain period of growth, and they will absorb water air from the outside water, okay. Each should contain numerous pores for the exchange of gas, okay. Like our nose, in the root also there will be n number of pores which will be used for exchange of different gases in and out. So moving to the last type, it is obtaining nutrition. So to obtain nutrition also, some plants have developed some modified types of roots. For example, as you will find in dodder plant, in this plant In our common language you call it as Swarnalata in Bengali language, or in English you can tell it as dodder plant. In scientific language you can tell it as Cascuta plant. Okay, they have parasitic roots. Now parasitic are those organisms who feed on other organism for their food, okay, and they harm them. So these being the parasitic organism, they develop parasitic roots, okay, which will arise from the stem. These roots help them to absorb water and food from the other host plants, okay. They do not have their own machinery to absorb. They will develop some roots, special type of parasitic roots, and this will be used to absorb food and nutrition from the host plant. Now what is host plant? The organism or the plant on which the parasite lives. Okay, so this is for today. If you have any doubt you can ask me. Thank you, students.